One singer's lust led him to losing his cherry to his father's girlfriend. Another legendary superstar's gluttony saw him eating so badly that his weight would balloon by 60 pounds, and another rock star guitarist was so lazy he almost missed a show after sleeping in. These are the 7 deadly sins as rock stars. Beginning with lust. Lust is considered one of the most deadly of the 7 deadly sins. It's believed to lead to other sinful and immoral behaviors, and in the music world, no one seems to embody this sin quite like Anthony Kiedis, the founding member and lead vocalist of the hugely successful alternative rock band Red Hot Chili Peppers. The Red Hot Chili Peppers have enjoyed remarkable success since their formation in 1983, and the band have achieved 5 top 5 albums in both the UK and America, selling over 60 million records worldwide. However, there's also a darker side to his life, marked by the despicable actions the singer committed in his 20s. Until the age of 12, Kiedis led a relatively normal and modest life in Michigan with his mother. However, every summer the singer would spend 2 weeks with his father in Hollywood, California, where the allure and craziness of the Los Angeles lifestyle captivated him. Eventually, Kiedis decided to live with his father full-time, marking the end of his childhood. Growing up, the lines between right and wrong were blurred for Anthony Kiedis, a confusion that persisted into adulthood. It also didn't help matters that the singer lost his cherry to his father's girlfriend, who took advantage of Kiedis when he was just 14 years old. In fact, for young Kiedis, this would go on to fuel much of the lust that persisted throughout his life.
The music to me is heavily related to sex.
The most notorious of which began in 1986. It was in 1986 that Kiedis began a relationship with the actress Ione Skye, who he initially thought was 16 years old. At the time, Kiedis was around 24 years of age, and the two stayed together for several years. During their time together, Kiedis engaged in a lot of promiscuous activities with Skye, and even though the singer claimed the actress made him believe that she was 16, and later confessed to being just 14 years old, the Chili Peppers frontman is guilty of being intimate with a minor, as the two still continued their relationship even after the singer found out about Skye's real age. Furthermore, in the singer's autobiography, Kiedis admitted to having with someone after persistently pressuring them for approximately 5 hours. Sadly, the Red Hot Chili Peppers' issues with harassment and inappropriate behavior did not end with Anthony Kiedis. In a 2016 essay, former Epic Records executive Julie Farman recounted an incident from 1990 where 2 of the band's members allegedly harassed her in the company's storage room. That same year, Kiedis' bandmates Flea and Chad Smith were arrested for lewd behavior, battery, and disorderly conduct after pulling a woman from the crowd and allegedly attempting to tear off her bathing suit. Despite their reputation as party animals, the music industry often dismissed these behaviors as mere personality quirks, overlooking the seriousness of their actions. Wrath is defined as a strong feeling of hatred, resentment, and anger with a desire for vengeance, and the rock star that perfectly represents this deadly sin is none other than Elton John.
Yeah, we'd love to get out of Taiwan and dismiss full of people like you. What's the flight?
This characterization stems not only from isolated incidents, but from a long-standing pattern of erratic and explosive behavior that has marked the rock star's career for over 5 decades. Known for his towering talent and equally towering temper, Elton John's outbursts have become almost as legendary as his music. During a concert in Perth, Australia, Elton's wrath was directed at security staff, who had allegedly removed a fan from the venue. In 2015, once again, during a UK concert, Elton berated security guards who were preventing the audience from raising their hands. He said, "These people have come to hear music, and if they want to put their hands in the air, let them." Another public outburst occurred in 2018 during a concert in Las Vegas. Fans were invited on stage during his performance of Saturday Night's All Right, but one overzealous fan's repeated touches had pushed Elton over the edge. He then stormed off the stage, visibly enraged, and when he returned, the Rocket Man made his feelings clear to the audience, saying, "No more coming on stage during Saturday night, you effed it up." Despite his legendary status and contributions to music, Elton John's struggle with wrath has been a constant companion. He's admitted that he continues to battle his anger issues and has acknowledged that his behavior can still be erratic and unpredictable. Gluttony is the overindulgence and overconsumption of anything to the point of waste, and who better embodies this than the legendary Elvis Presley? Elvis Presley, known as the King of Rock and Roll, is well known for his music, but his eating habits were equally as famous. For most of his life, his eating habits often reflected an extravagant and unhealthy lifestyle, and his diet included large amounts of rich Southern foods like meatloaf, which he famously ate every day for a month. The legendary singer also had a liking for high cholesterol meals, like steaks and buttered sandwiches that were full of peanut butter, jelly, and bacon. One of the most notorious examples of the singer's gluttony is the story of the Fool's Gold Sandwich. Back in 1976, Presley had impulsively flew his friends from Graceland to Denver just to indulge in this caloric monstrosity. The sandwich famously consisted of a loaf of buttered bread that was filled with peanut butter, jelly, and a pound of bacon. Despite being designed to serve 8 people, the vocalist and actor consumed it alone, showing not only a lack of restraint, but a near-comical level of indulgence. However, Presley's dietary excesses were not limited to occasional splurges. The singer's daily consumption reflected a profound disregard for nutritional balance. Presley famously eschewed vegetables, favoring instead foods that were laden with fat and sugar. This fanciness for unhealthy foods ultimately contributed to the actor's physical decline and his early death at the age of 42. As a deadly sin, sloth is a translation of the Latin term acedia, meaning without care, otherwise referred to as persistent laziness. In this case, 2 rock stars perfectly fall into that category: Kurt Cobain and Ace Frehley. Kurt Cobain, the iconic frontman of Nirvana, is often associated with a deadly sin of sloth, not in the traditional sense of laziness, but rather through his deep sense of apathy and disillusionment with the world around him. Cobain's personality would be marked by a profound sense of ennui and lack of motivation, which was reflected in his lyrics and public persona. The singer often expressed a feeling of being overwhelmed by the pressures of fame and the expectations that were placed upon him, leading to a withdrawal from the very success that he had worked so hard to achieve.
But I think we're just easy scapegoats. It's just, it started with something and then, people just pick up on it and carry it along.
In Cobain's career, the songwriter's embodiment of sloth can be seen in his erratic behavior, frequent cancellations of shows, overall reluctance to participate in the music industry machine, and despite the singer's immense talent and groundbreaking success of Nirvana, he often seemed disengaged and indifferent to the commercial aspects of his work. Similarly, Ace Frehley, the original lead guitarist of Kiss, can be associated with the deadly sin of sloth through his well-documented struggles with apathy and lack of motivation, particularly during the height of the band's success. Frehley's laid-back and often indifferent attitude toward the demands of being in one of the world's most famous rock bands had led to tensions with both Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley, later referring to Frehley as the laziest person he ever met in his life, and ultimately contributing to his departure from the group. The guitarist often missed rehearsals, interviews, and even recording sessions, which placed a strain on his relationships with his bandmates. In his autobiography, Face the Music, A Life Exposed, Paul Stanley recounts various incidents involving Ace Frehley. One such incident involved Frehley almost missing a show because he decided to stay in bed. According to Stanley, the event took place during the 1970s when Kiss was touring extensively. Ace was known for his partying lifestyle and had developed a reputation for being unreliable and at times quite unprofessional. On this particular occasion, Frehley stayed in bed and refused to get up, even though the band had a concert to perform. The other members of Kiss were all ready to perform, but Frehley was still in his hotel room, seemingly indifferent to the urgency of the situation. Eventually, after much coaxing and pressure, the guitarist got out of bed and then made it to the show. Now, although the guitarist released several solo albums that showcased his talent, his output would be sporadic, and his personal struggles often overshadowed his professional achievements. Madonna is one of the most successful and influential artists in the history of pop music, with a career that spans over 4 decades and a legacy that's marked by numerous chart-topping hits, iconic performances, and cultural milestones. However, the superstar's personality and career epitomized the deadly sin of pride. Through her relentless self-promotion, boundary-pushing persona, and unwavering confidence of her own artistic vision, From the beginning of Madonna's career, the singer's unshakable belief in her own abilities would often manifest as arrogance and self-importance.
Incidentally, you are a sick.
You realize this is being broadcast, don't you?
Yeah.
Madonna's determination to control her image and music, while also propelling her to fame, led to a reputation for being difficult to work with. The singer's refusal to compromise or even listen to advice also alienated collaborators and critics alike. Madonna's fearless approach to challenging societal norms sometimes crossed into provocation for its own sake, resulting in controversies that overshadowed her artistic achievements. Infamous moments like her provocative performance of Like a Virgin at the 1984 MTV Video Music Awards and the release of her book Sex often seem designed to shock more than to make a meaningful statement. Envy is often given the nickname of the green-eyed monster. It's a deadly sin characterized by resentful longing for someone else's possessions, qualities, or luck, and it stems from feelings of inferiority and insecurity, which leads to a desire to undermine or belittle others to feel superior. In the realm of rock music, there are few figures that embody the essence of envy as perfectly as Courtney Love. Known for her tumultuous career and fiery personality, Love has consistently displayed behaviors and attitudes that are driven by envy, making her a prime example of how this sin can help shape a public persona. From the beginning of her career, Courtney Love's intense drive to succeed was often overshadowed by her public displays of jealousy and resentment. The vocalist's frequent clashes with other artists, most notably her well-documented feuds with Kurt Cobain's Nirvana bandmates, revealed a deep-seated envy. The singer's constant comparisons to other musicians and her need to prove herself often led to public outbursts and controversial statements that had painted her as an envious figure in the rock scene. Throughout her career, Love also made it a habit to troll other artists, with Taylor Swift being one of her more notable targets. The singer's disparaging remarks about Swift, often dismissing her talent and success, highlight Love's struggle with envy. These public attacks seem to stem from a place of insecurity and a perceived threat to Love's own status and relevance within the industry. But beyond her interactions with Swift, Love's envy extends to other female artists as well. The singer often criticized and belittled peers like Madonna and Gwen Stefani, suggesting a pattern of behavior that's driven by jealousy. This envy not only damaged her relationships within the industry, but also detracted from her own accomplishments, as her public persona became associated with her feuds more than her music. Love's personal struggles with addiction and her tumultuous relationships further fueled her envious tendencies. The singer's public meltdowns and erratic behavior were often interpreted as attempts to draw attention away from more successful and stable artists. As a result, Love's career has been marred by her inability to overcome her jealousy and insecurity, despite her significant contributions to music and her role as a pioneer for women in rock. Greed is often defined as an intense and selfish desire for more than one needs or deserves, particularly in terms of wealth, power, or possessions. It's a drive that can lead individuals to prioritize their own material gain over ethical considerations, personal relationships, or even their own well-being. In the music scene, Gene Simmons, the co-founder and bassist of Kiss, is a clear example of how greed can shape a career. For Simmons, Kiss isn't just a band, it's a multi-million-dollar franchise, and the bassist treats it as such.
Bass player in a rock band, which happens to be America's #1 rock band of all time in all categories, is finally going to tell you how you can make some more money and attain power.
With $5,000 VIP fan experiences and the Kiss name on over 5,000 products, Simmons turned Kiss into a money-making machine during the group's 40-year career. This focus on profit has been a hallmark of Simmons' approach to both music and business. In fact, the Business Insider even dubbed the Kiss co-founder the business architect behind the band. Simmons makes no bones about treating music as big business. In a recent interview, the co-founder likened being in a touring band to running any other corporation. Simmons explained that success comes from giving people what they want, even if it's not to his own personal taste. The bassist even went as far as comparing it to a chef who may hate spinach, but makes a spinach souffle because the customer wants it. For Simmons, this approach is not only practical but also ethical. and he dismisses accusations of selling out with pride, saying, "You're damn right, I sell out every night." Simmons' quest for profit hasn't been without controversy, though. When Kiss released air guitar strings that cost $3.99 in 2017, many fans felt that it was a step too far. More recently, the bassist faced backlash for his Twitter conduct, with some accusing him of greed and bullying for allegedly profiting from tweets about cryptocurrencies like Dogecoin. So far, all of Simmons' actions only go to show the bassist's desire for financial gain often overshadows other considerations, which is a classic case of greed where making money becomes the primary focus.